Hello, my name is Arana Aldmer, and welcome to episode 3 of my show, Podcast of Shadows. I know you've all probably been wondering where I am, as I haven't been on air for a wee while now. Unfortunately, my mother back home in Ireland took very ill, and I've had to come back to Ireland from New York to care for her. Now, she did pass away a couple of days ago, but I am still here in Ireland, organising various things. Funerals here in Ireland work a lot differently than they do in the States, and they happen a lot quicker. But I have stayed here as the weather is beautiful, and it's nice for me to catch up with various family and friends that I haven't seen in quite a long time. I do hope to get back over to New York for Samhain, as Samhain is a pretty popular time for us Wiccans and for other magical folk. So thankfully I've had Shell, who I've known for years, and she's been a Wiccan for many years like myself, and she has been able to step up and take care of things for me over there while I'm away. So a thank you to her. Now, I have received your emails and I'm going to read them out on the next episode. I know, but I want to try and get back into this episode, and as I said, it's a beautiful day here and I'm back in my own home country, so I've got time to relax and just kick back into it. So, without further ado, I'm going to kick into my herb segment. And for my herb today, I chose to do blackberry. Now, I know that you might think of the blackberry as a fruit, but I'm actually going to do the blackberry plant as a whole, because it has so many medical and magical uses that most people actually don't realise. To start off with what we all know, the blackberry fruit, I remember when I was young, growing up in this house that I'm in now, we actually live out in the countryside, as Ireland mostly is, and we have quite a large garden here. And I remember going out into the garden when I was younger and picking the blackberries when I was small with my mother. She would make a lot of jam and she would make wine too, but I was too young at that stage. A long time ago. And I remember picking the blackberries and I just loved it, and that's something that I would still do today. I'm sure many of you have gone out and picked blackberries before. I actually go on blackberry picking binges, where I actually pick too much blackberries when I come home. So I found that if I pick them and freeze them, I can take them out when I need them. So that's a great way of preserving them, because they are an annual berry. So they only come once a year, so you're best to get as much out of the wonderful crop that they produce as much as you can. Now, one of the wonderful health benefits of the blackberry fruits are they are high in antioxidants and vitamins. They're very good at detoxifying your liver and kidneys. Blackberries are particularly very high in vitamin C and K, which is good for your immune system and provides many cardiovascular benefits. They can help cleanse the blood and build bone strength, so they're very good for people with osteoporosis. I just love going out and collecting the lovely organic blackberries, as they are very nutritious and hey, they're free. So get out there and get some of them, as I said, before they run out. And blackberries are also very popular in culinary arts and cooking. So they're often used to, add flavours and dye food. They're put into pastries and pies, as I said, my mother, and the jam and the wine. So they're very popular in cooking, or just to simply add to your bowl of cereal or yogurt. Now, as I said, the actual blackberry plant has much more healing benefits than actually the fruit it produces. For example, the roots and branches can be ground up and made into a decoction, and teas for kidney stones and many other ailments. What I'd like to concentrate on is the blackberry leaves. You may have seen these in your local health foods shop, as they are becoming more and more popular. They're seen in teas and vitamin supplements. Blackberry leaves they can also be eaten, and they are just as nutritious and nourishing as the fruit. However, they can be made into a tea, which is very good for sore throats and removing any phlegm or mucus in your sinuses. I also love to add blackberry leaves into my bath, because they are very astringent and they're wonderful at freshening up your skin. You may have got a nettle sting before, and you would bruise a docking leaf to put on the nettle sting. Well, blackberry leaves can also be used in this way. You can bruise them, and they're particularly very good for burns, especially burns caused by steam or scalding hot water. And they can also be used on various skin issues, like eczema and hemorrhoids and skin ulcers. The blackberry plant itself has a range of magical uses as well. Blackberries are a symbol of fertility and abundance, and can be used in spells for prosperity and abundance. I also love baking them into pies in magical cooking for the harvest festivals like Lunasa or Lammas. The leaves can also be used as a mild aphrodisiac for all you lovers out there. Blackberries are ruled by the symbol of fire, which makes them popular in protection magic. You can add the thorns and blossoms into your little mojo bags, or even twist the branches into wreaths to hang on your door. I remember I made one of these, and I also combined it with ivy, to boost the effects and make it look more appealing to me. A bit of creativity. Blackberries, they're also a dream symbol. Blackberries represent loss, sorrow and remorse. Also, if you're pricked by a blackberry bush in your dream, then your enemies will conspire with your friends against you. If you draw blood, then they will give you the raw end of the deal. So, all in all, get out there and pick some of these wonderful berries before it's too late. As I said before, they do grow annually. So now, you can buy blackberries in the store, but obviously these have all been cultivated and are not going to be as magical and nutritious as the ones you can pick yourself in the wild. Now, after all that talking, I have a sore throat coming on now, so I think I'll have to take a quick break and have some blackberry tea to soothe my throat and remove any phlegm or mucus that I may have. Or I could just have a glass of red wine, which also has a lot of antioxidants and is the same thing. Not really, but it'll do. It'll be my substitute. Anyway, before I go, I want to inform you that instead of using the usual promos for other podcasters in my breaks, I have noticed that other podcasters I was promoting are not using my podcast on their show. So I thought, well, I'm not going to promote yours if you're not going to promote mine back. So instead I'm just cutting them all away, and I'm going to do a musical break and incorporate some magical interludes in my break instead of bringing in that negativity from the other podcasters. So, anyway, I'm going to go on my break now and I'll be back shortly. Now, I am back. I hope you enjoyed that little piece of music. It is something my son actually seen on YouTube and came over and said, "Oh, mother, you will love this," and he was right. Now, I've had a look at this girl who produced it. Her name is Gillian Aversa, and I have been looking at some of her other work on her channel, and she's doing a lot of mysterious ethereal vocals, as she calls it. So I don't know anything else about her, but I did enjoy a few of her pieces, so fair play to her, and I'll include a link on the website. Now, next, what am I going to do? Oh yes, crystal balls. I could do with a pair of them right now to remind me of myself. Where is it? Yes, now it's time for my magical segment. So today I'm going to discuss crystal ball gazing, also known as crystallomancy. Now, I have used crystal balls a lot in the past, but it's only now that I'm getting a wee bit back into using them. So I thought I'll discuss them with you, my listeners. Now, crystal ball gazing is a form of scrying. And scrying is usually using a reflective surface to induce trances and visions. Some people like to scry with mirrors, candle flames, water, with the moon's reflection, or other reflective things, but I'm going to concentrate on using crystal balls. Now, the Celts and Druids were actually one of the first to start to use crystals for scrying, as they used beryl, which was known as their stone of power, to induce visions. Now, as I explained in a previous episode, crystals are energy magnets and communicators, so I find it best to work with these magical objects when I'm scrying. Ancient medicine men and other psychics would pass their crystal balls down to their apprentices, so they were considered pretty powerful tools. Now, I am very with the times and I enjoy using the real quartz crystal balls or even the glass crystal balls when I'm working with these. I also have an obsidian crystal ball which is black, and I love using that and have a great experience with that as well. If you've never used a crystal ball before, it will take quite a bit of practice. It's like lifting weights in your gym. You need to exercise your muscles for a while before you can see the results. When I first began scrying, I didn't see anything in my crystal ball for a long time. After a couple of days I was doing it, I got to grasp sort of what I was doing. So don't get disheartened if you give it a go and you don't see anything or get results. It's quite difficult to get into that trance state and requires a lot of practice. The best thing to do is, like any other crystal, once you purchase your crystal ball, cleanse and charge it. I often leave mine outside the full moon for a few nights to let it cleanse and rejuvenate, and if it rains, all the better to wash away any energy it has stored up. When you're purchasing your crystal ball, actually, make sure you're getting it from a reputable manufacturer or, producer, because there is quite a lot of fakes out there, and people like to use them for props and costumes, as they are quite popular in popular culture. To begin scrying, you will need to set the atmosphere. Most people prefer to do it at night time because that's usually when the world slows down, but that's not always the case for everyone. Some people might have a lot more time during the day because they might have more free time during the day. So whatever suits you better is the best for you. Lighting is key when you're working with your crystal ball. It's always good to have a candle lit to have the reflection, because it's very important to get that reflection in the crystal ball.